Hello everyone, Yom Tov. It's good to be back and to see you all again. And I want to thank you all for all your loving messages. And I want to thank you for your patience with me. It's still early days for me, but I'm trying to get back in the saddle, and because you have to, don't you? I was a bit of a coward yesterday. I wanted to make a video yesterday. I did. But I don't know what it was. I couldn't bring myself to talk to anyone. The girls are sending me back the glassware that I asked for. As soon as it arrives, when they get it packed up and what have you, I'll show you it. And I think you'll probably, don't get me wrong, decorated glassware isn't for everyone. But this one was special because Lorena put it up on Facebook and she had said, I love these. I really do love them, but they're expensive. And at the time she was busy fighting, it was the liver cancer, which we thought she was going to win, that particular battle. And I could feel her looking at them with longing, if that makes sense, through our words. And I remember messaging her and saying, okay, darling, which one of these would you like? And she said, I would happily take either. I love them so much, both of them, either of them, She said, but the problem is they're so expensive. And, yeah, they were. But, I weighed it up against, well, I could spend the same amount on a takeaway for the family, And once it's eaten, it's gone. Sorry, despite her talking to me, I'm still smoking. She knows it was my crutch. She was a smoker herself for many years. And I just said to her, well, look, if you had the choice, which one would you have? Would you have the tall, long glass, with a handle? Or would you have the cup? Looks like a little teacup. And there was a silver spoon with some crystal on it, if I remember correctly. And she said, either. I love them both. She says, but I'm not expecting them. She says, it was one of those things. She said, I put the link up to it and I just wanted to share with everyone something that I thought was really beautiful. And I said, so you can't choose between them? And she said, no. And this is the truth, this is how it went. I said, well, if you can't choose between them, there's only one thing to do. And she said, well, what's that? I said, well, I'm just going to have to get them both for you, aren't I? Well, she was doing her usual, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. And I was like, who can't? And I said to her, look, answer me one question. What? Would they make you smile? Would they make you happy? Would they bring you some happiness? Would you use them? I know that's like 4 questions, but, you know. And she said, oh, they definitely make me smile. And they definitely make me happy. But I'm not letting you do this. And I said to her, in all fairness, love, you can't stop me. You know, you're not my mother, sort of thing. So she said, well, I'll give you money towards them. And I went, no, you will not. She was like that. She was never afraid to put her hand in her pocket, right? I mean, she wasn't well off, but, you know, she was careful. And you know what she would do? Every time in the 3 years that she was fighting cancer, because it was ovarian first, then her stomach and her bowel, and then, as you know, her liver, she would redecorate her apartment from top to bottom. Everywhere was redecorated in case something happened to her and our landlord would have a beautiful apartment to let on to somebody else. Because that's the sort of person she was. And I tell you, she had a show home, an absolute show home, for a woman who lived alone with 6 chihuahuas. The place was immaculate, absolutely immaculate. So anyway, I said to her, right, well, tough, you know, I'm getting them for you. It's a gift from you to me. And that's that. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So the only thing is, I said, they probably won't send it to you. They'll send them to me. But it's okay, because I'll just send them down to you. Well, it took about a fortnight. The day they came, same day, I sent them down to her. And the following day, she put a little video of it up on Facebook. And it's of her holding them. And she said, I'm going to use the tall one for my water. And I'm going to use the cup for my chamomile tea. And she said, when I took them out the box, I was just sobbing. She said, they're just so beautiful. And I'm smiling. You know, she said, they really made me smile. And I went, that's fantastic. Because, you know, that's all I ever want to do, is make you smile, make you happy. Because by God, you deserve it. You've been through a hell of a lot. So that's why I asked for them back. I said I didn't want them washed. Just put them back in the box the way they are. I don't care if they've even just been rinsed, just put them in the box. And then I can hold them. because when they came to my house, obviously I didn't open them to check them. I just put on a couple of stickers with the new address where they were going to go. And the joy she expressed from getting 2 bits of glassware, it was amazing. It did my heart good, knowing that there was something beautiful that she loved and she used regularly. And that's going to be one of my overriding memories of her. And yeah, so like I said, when they arrive, I'll make a video and I'll show them to you, and you can let me know what you think. As you'll have noticed, there's no intro and outro for this video today. I want to change my intro and outro, and I want to get quieter music, a bit more gentle. And I'm thinking of calling, whether it happens on a Monday or whatever, any other day that I happen just to want to talk to you about something, I'm going to call it Around the Kitchen Table. Because a lot of you have said that's how you imagine yourself when I'm talking to you. You imagine yourselves around the table with me. So I thought that's what I'll call that intro and outro, which I messaged Elle, and she's very kindly offered to make me a new intro and outro. She said she'll do it for me as quickly as she can. I've told her to take her time because I know how much work she puts into them. But even before Lorraine passed, I was thinking that the intro was too long. And although it was a beautiful intro, and I was really grateful to Elle for helping me and doing that for me, and I always will be grateful. But not every video that I make talking to you is going to be about jolly things. And I think sometimes if you've got a happy, bouncy intro and then you're talking about something that might be sad or something that's maybe a delicate topic, it might not be appropriate. So I'm going to look for some music, and then Elle wanted to know what I wanted to call it. So it'll still be Hedda's Haven, but around the kitchen table. Because we all know everything happens for a reason, don't we? So that's the reason why there is no intro today or outro. But it will be here as soon as Elle is able. And I've told her to take her time. I don't let her rush it, because, it's exceptional what she can do considering our disability. So whatever she does for me, I am always very, very grateful. And our work is outstanding. you know. There's something else that I actually need to apologise for something that I've said a few times in the length of the time that this channel's been going. And I said it with the best of intentions, but I didn't realise that not only was I hurting people, but I was actually being offensive. I've said all my life that, well, as far back as I can remember, that I don't see colour. I just see people. And I remember one of the first best friends I ever had, and I'd be about 4, maybe coming up for 5, and it was a little girl called Raj. It was Raj Patel. And we were living in Glasgow at the time, and there were a few Indian families living around where we lived. And I remember being a little girl, and the local park was literally just a couple of minutes walk away. And walking into the park and seeing these Indian ladies sitting with their beautiful saris. And, you know, I remember just being there on my own one day, as I was allowed to go and wander off then. And I remember this little girl with brown skin, beautiful long black hair, and it was in a plait, long plait, right down her back. Well, in Scotland we call them braids, but, you know, everywhere else it's plaited hair. Well, she had this long, thick plait, right, down to her bottom, probably longer than that even. And I remember she had this lovely dress on, and I know I had a dress on, and it was like a kind of a tartan. And she came up to me and she said, "I like your dress." And I said, because I remember this, and I said, "Oh, I like your dress." And she said, "Where's your mummy?" And I said, "Oh, she's in the house." And she said, "My mummy's over here. Do you want to come and see my mummy?" And I went, "Oh, yes, please." And she took me over. And here was this Indian lady. And she had the biggest smile. And it was one of the first times in my life I'd ever smelled a perfume that had patchouli in it. And I'm going to lay my love of patchouli at this lady's feet. And I couldn't understand a single word she was saying, but she kept grabbing my cheeks and kissed me on the cheeks and kissed me on the forehead, pulled me onto her knee, giving me cuddles. Do you know, and it was lovely. And they were all sitting around, and me and Raj would sit and make daisy chains and make little crowns for our heads. And I remember sitting there one particular day, and my older sister, one of my older sisters, had come out, and it turns out that one of her best friends at school was related to this little girl. And she was with her friend, and I can't remember her name, but it's funny because she had on the school blazer, but she had traditional Indian clothing on underneath. My sister had a school uniform on, and there was me sitting on the knee of Raj's mum, and I used to be passed in between her and her granny, and she was dressed all in white, and of course I didn't realise then that they wore white when they became widows. And I remember asking her once, not the granny, the mum, I said, "Can I be your little girl?" And she said something to me, and I've no idea what it was she said. But I just remember looking at her saying, "I don't understand." And she just gave me a great big hug. So I don't know what it was. And then there were these group of boys, teenage boys, walking past. And it was the first time I ever remember hearing the F word. And they were shouting effing packies at these ladies. There'd be about 6 to 8 of these mums, and there was a couple of grannies, and that's just sitting on the grass, just minding their own business. And I remember my sister's friend just put her head down, and she was saying to my sister, "Don't say anything, don't say anything." And I remember my sister saying something to these boys, and I remember she used the F word, and I thought, oops, she's going to be in trouble if mother hears her talking like that. And I remember a friend saying to her, "That's what gets me down all the time. We're not Pakistani, we're Indian." She says, "My family is Bengali." And of course, the only reason I remember that is because it was a story that my sister retold to me as I got older. And of course, I didn't understand what that was. And I didn't understand what a Paki was. And I remember Raj went to our mummy and started to cry, and our mum was looking upset, and then they all just got up and they had to leave. But it didn't stop them coming back the next day. And I remember it must have been summertime and coming up to the end of like the summer term, because I just remember it was a nice summer, and every day I could, I would be out at the park in the afternoon and sitting on the knees of these Indian ladies. And I remember they'd let me count their bangles on their wrists. And they had tons and tons of these bangles. And these, beautiful rings, earrings, oh, beautiful. And studs in their noses, and gold rings through their noses. I just thought they were amazing, incredible, and beautiful. So beautiful. But anyway, getting back to what I wanted to apologise for, is that my good friend Daphne is mentoring me with regard to how bad things are for people of colour in America. And what I do know is that, yes, unfortunately, there is racism everywhere. And I'm not going to deny that there isn't racism in the UK. Yes, in small pockets. Yes. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to say that the UK is racism free. But there's racism between black people and Chinese people. There's racism between Chinese people and Arabic people, and then, you know, it's horrible, but there's racism everywhere. But Daphne is mentoring me, and she told me that, and I mean, she is such a good friend. She knows that she can talk to me about anything and that I will listen. And I've always said that if I do something wrong, then I need to be told. So I don't offend anybody, I don't upset anybody, and I can learn from my mistakes, first off, to prove that I'm genuine by not doing it again and by apologising and learning. And Daphne explained to me that, especially when, I mean, she was obviously talking about people of colour, but when I said that I don't see colour, I just see people, she said that for, and I mean, she said she can't speak for all of them, but some of them feel that it's hurtful and it can be offensive, because it means that by saying that, I'm sort of erasing them and erasing the experiences that they have to endure as black people. And when she told me that, I was absolutely horrified that I've been saying this and not realising that I was being hurtful and offensive. So I want to take this, sorry, I do need a drink, it's been really hot today. So excuse me. I want to deeply apologise to anyone that I have offended by me saying I don't see colour, I just see people. I realise that now, I realise that it was hurtful and offensive, and that is the last thing that I would ever do, is hurt or offend anyone deliberately. I truly did not know, but now I do know. And the first thing, apart from me genuinely apologising for my ignorance and, you know, because there's a lot of people who will say, well, ignorance is no excuse. But in this case, I genuinely didn't know. But now I do. So, first off, I sincerely apologise, and I hope you can forgive me. Secondly, I'll never say it again. Thirdly, I'm learning because Daphne is mentoring me. She runs classes on racism and, you know, the experiences of people of colour, and she goes through the history, you know, of, you know, things like that. I've only just started. It's a big course, and I mean, the thing is, I would love to devote more time to it, but I'm giving it what time I can, because I must admit, these last few days haven't been great. And I'm not going to lie, I've spent an awful lot of time crying. And I don't think you can take an awful lot in, especially when it's something as important as this. But I've watched a film called 13th, a Netflix film that Daphne showed me. And I've read stories about black people in history. But there's an awful lot to get through. And normally, if I'm having an online week that's according to plan, Monday would be around the kitchen table, Tuesday would be tarot, Wednesday is folk tales, Thursday is true crime, and Friday is paranormal. And hubby sort of said, you know, weekends, come on, family time. So when he's not doing his thing, and when I'm not looking for stories, answering comments, answering things on Twitter, you know, things like that. And then I want to devote some time to Daphne's course. Add in the mix that I'm still a mum, you know, even though they're adults, my kids still need me. And there's times they want just me just to talk to them and be there for them. My husband wants the same. I want to try and start getting back to the synagogue if I can. And then he added into the mix that, to be quite honest with you, I never know how I'm going to be from one day to the next. I mean, tomorrow I could swell up like a balloon, you know, and it's not much fun when you can't see out of your eyelids. It's really not great. There's days that my hands swell up so bad I can't type. If you add fibromyalgia into the mix, it gets worse. And then today, like today, where I've hardly moved, it's because my back. I'm in pretty bad pain with my back at the moment. I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm about an 8 1/4. That's how bad I am today. So, anyway, that's was basically that. And I've made this video for you again, and I haven't checked the clock. So I don't know how long I've been yakking to you for. But what's new with me? Nothing really changes, does it? I didn't put any makeup on today for 2 reasons. One, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Even though I've got waterproof makeup, I don't know, it's just, I'm carrying around 2 voids now. Because it's Suze's 5th anniversary next month. And now Lorraine's gone. And I feel lonely. And 2, it's been that horrible humid heat today, which normally would have the makeup running down my face. So I just thought, I'll do my hair, but I'll just put some moisturiser on and talk to you. I mean, you see me looking a lot worse than this, you know. One of these days, if I look really bad, I'll just come on with a bucket over my head and 2 holes for eyes and a hole for a mouth. But you'll still know it's me because you'll be able to hear me from inside the bucket. If you could all just write what colour bucket you'd like me to get, then I'll see what I can do. I think I've already got a blue bucket. And I might have a black bucket. But last time I looked at the black bucket, it had worms in it and garden soil. So, probably need to clean that one out, I think. Although I don't know if Hobby's grown something in it. God knows what he's doing. I should dread to think. So, on that happy note, thank you again for being here, and thank you for all your messages of wonderful support. I went down all your messages, and you've all been so kind. There was people leaving me messages I've never spoken to before, and I'm just sorry to have met you. Sorry, underneath those circumstances. But I still want to thank you for being there for me. And all of you have no idea how much your love and support helped carry me through last week. I'll be quite honest with you, I thought that because Lorraine and I didn't have the sort of oh God, it's hard to describe it. We had a different level of friendship to the one I had with Suze. And I honestly didn't believe that I could grieve so much over anyone again the way I did with Suze. But this week it's been damn close. And my stomach's still carrying that concrete block. You know, that feeling of heaviness. It's still there. I miss her. I miss her so much. It's hard. I mean, I know my grief is nothing compared to our girls and our grandsons. The jewellery I bought her, I've told them to keep. I said, wear it, because it was jewellery that your mum loved. So I don't want the jewellery back. But I would like the mug and the cup with the little teaspoon. I can't wait to let you see them. I'm sure some of you will love it, and I mean, like I said, it's not to everybody's taste, but what was important was the fact it made us smile, and every time she used them, she smiled, and that's what's important. So, if you can make someone smile with just a small gesture, and knowing it's something that, you know, will give them pleasure, if you ever get the chance to do that for somebody, give it a try. And you'll be able to feel that person's happiness, because I could definitely feel hers. It was totally worth it. Anyway, I'm going to finish here now, guys. So, all being well, I will do my best to resume normal service this week. There will be 2 readings put up later on for Clarissa Ann and for David. I've already got one ready to go up for next week. Well, I will have, which is what I mean, I will have a reading ready for next week, but don't forget, if anybody wants one, all you got to do is ask. Just let me know whether you want it in private or public, and if you've got a question. But I don't need a whole load of personal information, just the question. No date of birth, nothing like that. I don't need it. I just rely on Spirit and the tarot to give me the information, and then I'll wait to see how they make me feel. And everything's free. And Friday is I think the intro's going to have to be revamped for that as well, because I'm not going to call it the spooky sessions anymore. It'll be something around the paranormal. I'm sure I said what it was, but for the life of me I can't remember now, but not to worry. And I'm going to go back to original storytelling, and we'll just see how that goes down. See people like that better than the series. Okay then, I'm going to love you and leave you. I've just seen the time. I think I'm well over what I should have been yakking to you for. But it's nice to talk to you again. Thanks again for everything. I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.